This is going to be the oldest man thing I've ever said.
You're about to shake your fist at the clouds. I can't wait to hear this one.
I don't really want to go to the world's loudest stadium.
That is.
I'm sorry.
You'd rather go to a dead stadium?
To me, it doesn't matter. My ears ring already. The loudness of the stadium won't affect me one way or the other.
If it's the loudest stadium in the league, it's covered, obviously. That could be hard on you.
And hopefully I'll be
freaking
suite,
annoying.
so I can just stand up. And if it's too loud,
I don't think you're going to go to many games then.
I'm not going to go to many games regardless.
No, you're not.
It could be the world's greatest stadium. I'm not going to go to a ton
Is
of
it
games.
possible? I mean, I immediately think of Seattle. I do think of other domes, like the Vikings when they're going is loud.
Raucous.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, enclosed stadiums, it's going to be
Minnesota.
loud.
I saw a commentary that last week's Bears game, they were saying that was the loudest they had seen. What is the field called now? It's not just Soldier Field.
Isn't it Soldier
still
Field?
Soldier Field at.
I figured they had a
something
sponsorship.
at Soldier Field. I think they do.
Oh,
have
it has a
sponsor.
corporate sponsor.
Yeah, I think they've got
that.
some sort of
It's hard
sponsorship.
to keep up. I know a lot of them. I don't know if I know all of them at this point.
I mean, I think it would be great. Is the part of the design, like we don't know how the interior is going to look, but it's a football field, so
Well, I'm sure they can figure out ways to make the sound bounce around.
yeah.
There's definitely acoustic things.
Somebody on Twitter, and I don't know whether to believe it or not, tried to say like kind of the potato chip design would enhance the sound. I don't know,
Possible. But they could definitely do things to enhance the sound.
but here's the counter, and Valdez brought it up. The wine and cheese crowd in D.C., the cost of the tickets. They may be pricing out the blue-collar people that like to bring the noise. And from the renderings we saw that there's not at least a big parking lot for tailgating. I'm sure they'll have some designated tailgating areas, but is it going to be hard to achieve that given the costs?
It's possible. I know when we moved from Cole Fieldhouse to whatever they call it now, dramatic difference. Dramatic difference. The
They also haven't been as
loudness,
good.
The sterile atmosphere of Xfinity.
I mean, last year they were good. But.
Yeah, but I mean, and it's gotten a little bit better, or we've gotten more used to it, but it was nothing compared to...
No, if you have an old pit like Cole Fieldhouse or Cameron Indoor, you're never going to get the same raucous sort of atmosphere.
But it's also
in a newer, bigger building.
It's a bigger building, a little more wine and cheese at the Xfinity.
1-800-636-1067. Do you think the new stadium can become the loudest or one of the loudest in the NFL? They have to win.
Right.
Are you saying
winning helps?
You're saying the only reason why they can't is because the ticket prices are going to be too expensive. That would be your number one reason why you don't think they could get there? Because isn't that true?
Why? Because they're not going to sell it out?
I think that the fans came back last year. They sold 12,000 more season tickets this year. They sold all these corporate sponsorships. They have a lot of things going in the right direction. People are excited. They like the design. I'm sure they will sell out, but I do think you're not getting as much of the everyman in there.
Commanders fans don't strike me as fans that'll just scream and yell for 4 quarters.
I mean,
back in the day,
are most fans go to a Niners game? Are they going to scream?
No, not Niners.
No, but you could make the argument like Cleveland.
Yeah, other stadiums.
They'll show up.
Well, it's this sort of reflection of the overall city. It's not a great sports city.
Other fan bases would be loud for most of the game.
Right.
Commanders fans don't strike me that
But
way.
he wants to recreate the RFK vibe.
I know.
So RFK was infamous for
that was loud.
The shaking aluminum seats.
The fans are different now.
The place bouncing and the electricity, and it was back then a home field advantage that was as loud as any other stadium.
There's no chance that the Commanders fans are as loud as Eagles fans. Zero chance.
I don't know. If we're winning, I think the difference will be when we're losing, it'll hollow out. It'll be quiet. There won't be many people there. But if we're winning and we're on a tear like an RG3-like tear or a Jaden-like tear, I think we can be as loud as anybody.
Well, we'll see.
When we have that special thing.
I know. That's what Josh Harris wants.
The difference is those Eagles fans, Browns fans, whoever, Steelers fans, or whatever, whoever you want to say, they'll probably be loud winning or losing.
But you know what? Liquor does play a part of it, and drinking. And if
people are going to find,
you're not going to have as much tailgating,
no, that's just going to move.
So
maybe they're going to have to go to a restaurant. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I know.
But if it's limited, it's going to be a little less rowdy. And if the prices are so expensive, it'll probably be less rowdy. If it's more of like a sweet vibe, and corporate
Like sterile
corporations
atmosphere.
and you always hear about private equity buying all these seats and secondary market, like those things aren't going to go away. I think it's going to be really hard to achieve.
Tailgating is a common man thing. So like you can't just say, oh, these people will just go to a restaurant. People tailgate because they want to have cheap beer and cheap food before they go into the game.
Right, before they pay $19 for a draft beer inside.
Then we get liquored up.
Yeah, but I see that. I think it's a valid point. But I also
like
think
tailgating isn't just meeting at a restaurant or even meeting in the parking lot before the game.
Same, but I think that's what it's going to.
The genesis is, hey, instead of getting gouged in the stadium, I'm going to fill up on booze and food before I head in, so I don't need to pay that. But you also have
rich people tailgate. Rich people do tailgate.
Yeah, I know, but I think that's the genesis of tailgating.
I agree. All right, let's go to the phones. 800-636-1067. I personally think they could if it acoustically is doable.
Right, if it's a product that the fans are excited about, sure.
Well, it's got to be a product they're excited about. It's got to be it's got to be on a heater.
They got to win.
But again, I'm just saying if they design it in a way that would be conducive to having a shot at it, I think DC fans could do it, but not every year.
Right.
It's only going to be in winning years and when we're on a heater.
Right.
That personally.
Sure.
Like
because less people will show
up. A Jaden year or an RG3 year. I'm just going to call last year a Jaden year, 2 years ago a Jaden year, in 2012 a RG3 year.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's sucky. Is that the place is only going to be rocking when the team is good?
It's just reality. It's what we are as a sports town. You have to accept who you are.
That's it. That's why
we're front runners.
When you compare them,
front runners.
When you compare them to Eagles and Packers and Vikings and Lions and Chiefs,
we're not that sports town. We're not.
I mean, aren't the Ravens fans pretty freaking loud?
Yeah, it's actually it's the knock is that it's kind of turning into that where if the fans have expectations, if they haven't met the expectations, there's a lot of upper deck seats.
Natural,
yeah.
But it seems like when I haven't been to. I think I've been to one playoff game at M&T. That was against the Colts. Mm-hmm. Remember we went to that game?
Yes, with the Gov.
Yes.
Yeah.
We were
got to be 2008.
We
went to a playoff game with the Gov?
I know. I was there.
I remember Jason had to call his wife to get permission.
Yeah, I was there. I thought you guys were all there.
I went to one game with the governor. I didn't remember being a playoff game.
Because it wasn't it against Peyton Manning? I thought it was.
I can't remember. I just remember being silly in my brown leather coat on the sideline.
Anyway, I just remember it being freaking loud.
Yeah.
That was a playoff game. So
I've been to 3 or 4 Ravens games. They've always been pretty loud.
That's a great experience over there. All right, let's go to.
I put this up as our poll of the day, and we'll go to the phones. 1-800-636-1067. Our poll of the day sponsored by Surfside. Use the code JUNKS, JUNKS, at store.statesidevodka.com. You get 25% off select merchandise, tees, hats, hoodies, and more. Use that code JUNKS, store.statesidevodka.com. Is it possible for this new stadium, you saw the design, everybody seems to love the design, you've seen the drawings, for this to become the loudest stadium in the NFL?
I think at times. Let's go to Tailgate. Tailgate Ted. What's up, buddy?
What's going on, Junks? How you guys doing this morning?
Are you excited? Or I don't even know your vibe. What's your vibe right now?
Oh, I'm beyond excited. My bad for not calling in yesterday. Lurch called me out for not bringing in.
It's all good, man. You're fine.
Bad call.
I thought you would have been the first call we took, but go ahead.
I wanted to Lurch. Job was getting in the way.
I got you.
But
quit that thing.
To me, the biggest question is, you guys don't hit it on the head, right? We have to win, number one, because fans aren't going to show up like the Cowboys game where I'm just sitting there by myself with, 5 other people for Christmas. But everyone's questioning tailgating. To me, the biggest question is, we know there's PSLs. What are the payment plans that we're going to have to pay? Mm-hmm. We know it's going to be a lot of money, but how much time is the team going to give us to pay it back? Because fans will pay to be there if they're reasonable options. Other teams were giving their fans 3 years and 6-year options, which isn't going to be realistic if you actually want fans to fill that stadium and make it loud. Give us a 10-year option with no interest rates, things like that. Then you'll get fans there that have had season tickets through Griffith Stadium, through Northwest Stadium, and carried over back to RFK.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't imagine what the PSL upcharge is going to be.
What's the going
They're not
rate?
going to be cheap.
What's the going rate at commensurate stadiums? Like the newer stadiums.
The newer Buffalo seats, they're charging $25,000 a seat, and that's in Buffalo.
Yeah.
So we're going to spend more than that here. And they were giving their fans, I believe it was a 5-year option with 5% interest or somewhere around there, single-digit interest rates.
All right, so hold on.
So
Let's just
my
slow down.
argument online.
Because I would never pay for that. So, but let's just say if I was going to pay for that, say it was $50,000 here, just double Buffalo. $50,000 for 5 years. So you got 5 years to pay it off. Is that the idea? However you want?
Yeah.
At 5%
5 years to pay
interest
it
or
off.
whatever the interest is.
Yes, that's the plan. That's the idea in Buffalo, and then you
wouldn't
still
give
have to
one
buy
penny.
your seats.
It's a crazy
So-
scam the NFL can pull.
Yeah.
I just people
Yeah.
are willing to pay it though. That's the most absurd
Yeah,
part.
I mean, sure. I'm all for it.
I mean, the
I wouldn't
Buffalo
pay it.
Stadium, the new PSLs are going to be between $1,500 and $50,000
Thank you,
per
Ted.
seat.
Thank you,
Yeah.
buddy.
Yeah, but do you think the person who can afford that is going to act like an idiot in the stadium and
I mean,
scream for 4 quarters?
Pro-
I do
Probably
know
not.
some rich
Right.
idiots. I do know some rich idiots, but they might be the outliers. Yeah.
Somebody's going to pluck down 40 large for a PSL, and they're just going to scream from start to finish in a game. I mean, that's got to be a rare bird.
Well, haven't we seen Steve Ballmer do that with his team?
Okay, there are exceptions.
There are guys.
His team stinks, by the way.
Yeah.
Now, his franchise valuation is great, but not very good.
I mean, some people go to games to cut
I know what you're
loose.
thinking. I'm just going to
Regardless of income
just
level.
going to say it. You're thinking it's just this white collar crowd, the hoity-toity, but you got a lot of blue collar guys out there that make a great living, that own their own businesses, that
Yeah.
love to go to football games and wear hoodies and get after it and pound beers, and they own great businesses. So, you can attract some of those guys.
I envision the entire stadium like any given Sunday in the Pagliacci suite.
Right.
And they're all sitting there sipping in
I
their
mean, look,
champagne.
maybe I'm a bad fan, but like if I go to a football game, I don't cheer start to finish. There's no chance. I cheer at
You save it up for big
Yeah,
moments.
I cheer at appropriate times. I clap at appropriate
I'm not
times.
sure I even cheer.
like every once in a
Right.
while, I
Yeah, you
may
just watch.
stand up for a
and then
big
you might give a
play.
high five to somebody
like,
if they
yeah,
score
yeah,
a
yeah,
touchdown.
when they
There's
score.
no way play in, play out. I'm cheering or like let's go, like the whole
No, I think I
time.
might-
I don't. That's not the way I.
You know,
I'll probably respond.
You said you booed just last week when you went to the game when Jordan Poole would touch the ball.
A couple times when Jordan Poole touched the ball, I was boo along with the rest of the crowd, but not every time.
Right.
Because I'm not a psycho. You know what I'm saying? Like
But there are some
Well, they
psychos.
need-
there
yeah.
are some psychos out
Yeah,
there.
especially in
You
other
need-
markets.
You need 60,000 psychos in there.
All right, we got a
Okay,
bunch
be
of
the loudest.
That's not me.
We got a bunch of people that want to weigh in. We can maybe come back, take your calls, but we also need to do the boots on the ground update because boots on the ground Mike Marr, as his potential penalty,
What's he down,
will have to
1,500?
run 8 miles in boots to work
From Arlington
if he
to
can't
DC.
get to even with a maximum $500 bet because we learned during our parlay he was the anchor, was the absolute worst at it. Worst record, had dug the biggest hole. But now he's only dug a bigger hole after last week, so we're going to get boots on the ground picks and take your calls
By the way,
at
you shouldn't have agreed to the $500 max bet. That should have been higher.
1-800-636-1067
Big
with the
mistake,
Junkies.
Mike Moore.
Coming right back.